With Apple sparking the recent trend in truly wireless headphones, we see tons of different companies now putting their best efforts into creating a truly wireless headphone solution. And recently, we've seen Xiaomi completely shock the market in regards to bringing a truly wireless headphone to market at a very reasonable price. Now, Xiaomi is not the only Chinese manufacturer to bring a truly wireless headphone to market. When Huawei introduced the Huawei P20 Pro back in Q2 of this year, they also introduced the Huawei Freebuds, Huawei's attempt at a truly wireless headphone. I recently got to spend some time with the Huawei Freebuds, and I obviously compared them head to head with my Xiaomi AirDots. And today, we're going to talk about how they stack up. Hey, it's Mitchell. If you're new to my channel, I make videos about the tech I use, things like cell phones, tablets, cameras, drones. Occasionally I'll do Adobe Lightroom and Adobe Premiere tutorials. And if you're looking to pick up the Huawei Freebuds or the Xiaomi AirDots, I have links for Gearbest, AliExpress, and Amazon. And I'd suggest you look at all of those links to find the best price for each of these products. Okay, let's jump into it. Now, this was far from a comprehensive comparison between the Freebuds and the AirDots. There's simply a Huawei flagship store very close to me here in Hanoi. And if you're curious about living in Vietnam, I'll have a link to my other travel YouTube channel up here. But I got to go in the store. I got to spend about 20-30 minutes playing with the Freebuds, pairing them, seeing what the audio latency was, and doing a head-to-head kind of comparison between the Freebuds and the AirDots. I have some notes on my Mi Pad 4, and let's just start. Now, first I want to talk about pairing. Now, the Huawei Freebuds will start immediately pairing with whatever Bluetooth device they have as soon as you open the case. So the case that the Freebuds come with is kind of a smart case. And they paired with my Pocophone F1 quite quickly. And every time I would open up the case while in the store, they would pair again. I don't know if I would say that it would be significantly faster than the AirDots, but just because they are getting the jump start on pairing, because you open up the case and they start pairing, they probably pair a little bit faster. Now, you do have to press a button on the case for the initial pairing, whereas the AirDots, when you take them out of the box for the first time and they've never been paired, they automatically go into a pairing mode. For this, I kind of have to call it a draw, just because in regards to user experience, if you are going to be using these over and over again, the actual pairing process of them is kind of unimportant, and it's more whether or not you require the immediacy of them being connected before they get into your ear. Next, I want to talk about battery life. Now, the AirDots, I have tested them and they last me about a week, and I listen to music for about 2 to 3 hours a day. I put them back in the case, and the 16 hours of total playback that the AirDots come with the included case has been fine to get me through anywhere between 4 to 6 days of medium usage. Now, the Freebuds only have between 2 to 3 hours of playback, and with the case, you're looking at a maximum amount of 10 hours of playback. So it's a pretty noticeable difference in regards to the amount of playback time the Freebuds have versus the amount of time that the AirDots have. If you're someone that doesn't like to constantly charge stuff, then the Freebuds might not be for you. Next is audio codec. Now, both of these headphones support the AAC audio codec, and we'll talk about sound quality in a little bit, but in regards to how that audio codec affects the overall latency and lag, that was something I tested, and it is significantly more noticeable on the Freebuds than the AirDots. And if you're curious about what the latency is like on the Xiaomi AirDots, I have a video which I will link in a card right up here so that you guys can check out and see what the audio latency is like for yourself. Call quality. Now, the AirDots honestly have garbage call quality, and I have a video which illustrates what their call quality is, and I'll link that right up here. But overall, the call quality for them is not that great. There's absolutely no noise cancellation, and even in a quiet room, if there's some echo, like the room I'm in right now, you will be more likely than not unsatisfied with the call quality out of the AirDots. I didn't get a chance to test the Huawei Freebuds, but when I looked on Huawei's website, they do have a noise canceling microphone, and they do, I guess, market the great call and great audio quality. So just based on the fact that that's something that they have built into the buds, I'm going to assume that it has to be better than the Mi AirDots, simply because the call quality of the Mi AirDots was so poor. On the subject of audio quality, let's talk about call quality. Now, with the Mi AirDots, the audio quality is a little bit bassy. They're quite warm, and I have gone into the equalizer that I have on the ROM that I'm running on my Pocophone F1. And if you guys would like to see a review on the Lineage OS ROM for the Pocophone F1, let me know in the comment section down below. But I took a little bit of the low-end bass out of the equalizer, and I've noticed that the AirDots sound significantly better. Now, that being said, I don't think that they are necessarily a fair comparison to the Freebuds, simply because the Freebuds are almost triple the cost, and the Freebuds sound great. There is a lot of detail in the highs. The lows are not booming and they're not overshadowing. I listened to normally the track that I would listen to when testing this stuff out, which is just a track I like to listen to, Sicko Mode by Travis Scott. And there's a pretty heavy bass line, and there's some beat changes and some sound changes in it. And I gotta say that the Freebuds gave me a lot better kind of, I don't want to say soundstage, but a lot better definition in the highs, the mids, the lows. And I would have to say that this is one place where the AirDots, they just really can't compete. Let's talk about playback and the functionality in regards to changing and skipping tracks. Now, this is something that I complained about on the AirDots in regards to inconsistent and irregular touch commands. And this is somewhere where the Freebuds, again, are significantly better. You double tap one side to play pause, you double tap the other side to call up Google Assistant or whatever assistant app you are using. And because of the built-in proximity sensor, when you remove them from your ear, they will automatically pause the same way that the AirPods will. I gotta say that the reliability of the play pause and the playback functionality on them was significantly better and more accurate than the AirDots. It took me about 5 minutes of playing with them before I figured out what the controls were. But once I figured it out, it was every single time I double tapped one side, it would play pause, double tap the other side, assistant, and it was more or less flawless. And something I really liked about that was because I wasn't using a touch sensitive area, when I went to position them differently in my ears, they did not play pause or skip any tracks. I definitely have to give another win to the Freebuds. Okay, let's talk about the physical construction. Now, this is somewhere that I think the AirDots are equal. The Freebuds are made of a kind of cheap, thin feeling plastic, not in a low quality sort of way or like they're gonna break, but just in like a shiny, cheap plastic feel. I don't know how to describe it. Compared to the soft touch plastic that Xiaomi uses, I definitely preferred the Xiaomi's overall in-hand feel more, but that comes at the expense of dirt and discoloration over time. Whereas with the Huawei Freebuds, a little rubbing alcohol and you'll probably get them back to looking like new. I doubt that you will have that same type of luxury or that same type of ability with the Xiaomi AirDots. Both headphones stayed in my ear pretty well. It is worth noting that if you are living in a country where you are going to be wearing a dust mask or a pollution mask, like many people in developing countries would, the bottom portion of the Freebuds might get in the way on one of the strings for your pollution masks. It's just something that I thought I would note, whereas the AirDots, there's absolutely no interference and they stay completely inside of your, I guess it'd be ear or, yeah, ear. On the subject of physical dimensions and physical overall presentation, the Freebuds had a much more premium feeling case. The hinge mechanism is a lot more solid feeling. It's a lot more satisfying to open and close, but it is a lot bigger than the case for the AirDots. The Freebuds also use USB Type-C, which to me is a clear win in regards to connectivity compared to the AirDots, which have a kind of cheap, thin feeling plastic case. And overall, in regards to the physical construction of the case, I would have to give that to the Freebuds only because the fit and finish is a little bit better and it feels a little bit more high quality. It is worth noting that the case on the Freebuds will only give you 10 hours of battery life, and it's something that is quite disappointing, especially given the fact that it's a lot larger of a case than the Xiaomi AirDots. Okay, to wrap things up, let's talk about if I would recommend the Freebuds. And the answer is maybe. Now here's why. We're still in kind of the first generation of truly wireless earbud technology, and there's a lot of companies that are still trying to come to market with a truly wireless headphone solution. And to spend $100 on Huawei's first attempt at a truly wireless headphone solution, in my opinion, is a little bit steep. Only because as much as I love to be an early adopter of new technology, I will very rarely be an early adopter if I cannot get that new technology at some kind of value price point. And what I mean by that is that there are a lot of wireless Bluetooth headsets, and the market for the truly wireless Bluetooth headsets is quickly growing as well. And whether or not I think it's worth spending $100 on a first generation product is something that I just can't give my stamp of approval. If you are dying to get a truly wireless pair of earbuds right now, my suggestion is spend less than $50, which you can get the AirDots for. Like I said, I'll have links to all the different retailers down in the description down below. AliExpress will possibly be the cheapest, but their customer service is going to be the most questionable. So take that as you will. But if you can get your hands on the AirDots for under 40 bucks, I would say that the Freebuds are not twice the headphone of the AirDots. So that's gonna wrap it up. If you guys have more questions, go ahead, let me know in the comment section down below. This week, I'm going to be putting together a review of the Lineage OS 16 ROM for my Pocophone F1. I'm going to be talking about my 1 week with it versus my 1 week with the Xiaomi EU ROM and what ROM I like more. I'm also going to be doing a comparison between a Huawei flagship store and a Xiaomi flagship store here in Vietnam. And I also got to spend some time with a Mate 20 and a Mate 20 Pro, and I got to do a little bit of a speed or responsiveness comparison between the Mate 20 and the Pocophone F1. Obviously, I'll be doing a video about that for you guys. It won't be a full comparison, but it was just a first impressions, how I felt about it. So let me know what video you want to see first as well in the comment section down below. And if you want to talk about this more, go ahead and check out my Telegram group, link in the description as well as in the comments. And until next time, guys, it's been Mitchell. Coming to you from Hanoi, Shalom.